This conference will now be recorded.
Define optic atrophy. Exam రాశారు అందరూ. Most of you have copied, I think, textbook directly. వినిపిస్తుందా? So optic atrophy means it is a degeneration of the axons of the ganglion cells extending from optic disc to the lateral geniculate body. It involves only the anterior visual pathway. It does not involve the beyond the lateral geniculate body. It does not involve optic atrophy. That means it involves optic disc, optic nerve, optic chiasma, optic tract, and lateral geniculate body. It involves only the anterior visual pathway. So degeneration of the axons of the ganglion cells extending from the optic disc to the lateral geniculate body. That is optic nerve, optic chiasma, optic tract. The degeneration of nerve fibers in the anterior visual pathway is called optic atrophy. So what are the types of optic atrophy? What are the various types of, am I audible? What are the various types of optic atrophy? Number one is primary and secondary. That is one definition. The second one is based on ophthalmoscopic appearance. When you see the fundus, there are various types of fundus. That is ophthalmoscopic appearance of fundus. The third one is based on antegrade and retrograde. Whether it is extending from the optic disc to the lateral geniculate body, or it is extending from the lateral geniculate body to the optic disc. If it is extending from the optic disc to the lateral geniculate body, it is called antegrade or Wallerian degeneration. It is extending from the lateral geniculate body to the optic disc. It is called retrograde. These are the three classifications: primary and secondary, based on ophthalmoscopic appearance. The third one is antegrade and retrograde. There are the three types of classification. Based on ophthalmoscopic appearance, it is again divided into primary optic atrophy, consecutive optic atrophy, post-neuritic optic atrophy, glaucomatous optic atrophy, and ischemic optic atrophy. What are the most common examples of primary optic atrophy? Most common example for primary optic atrophy. The most common example for primary optic atrophy is serous dorsalis, which occurs in neurocephalus, and optic atrophy in multiple sclerosis. These two are the examples for primary optic atrophy. And what are the causes for consecutive optic atrophy? Consecutive means there is associated degeneration of the retina and underlying choroid associated with optic atrophy. Most common example of consecutive optic atrophy is retinitis pigmentosa. You know, retinitis pigmentosa. అయిపోయిందా retinitis pigmentosa? So conjugative optic atrophy example is retinitis pigmentosa. Post-neuritic optic atrophy means following inflammation of the optic nerve. You know, name itself indicates post-neuritic means following optic neuritis and papilledema. That is called post-neuritic optic atrophy. Glaucomatous optic atrophy means following rise in intraocular pressure, there is damage to the axons of the ganglion that causes damage to the axons of the ganglion cells and causes extension of the cupping and nasal shifting of the blood vessels. There are various signs, you know, in glaucomatous optic atrophy: deep cupping, nasal shifting of the blood vessels, different discontinuity of the vessels, asymmetry of the cupping. You know, all these signs, Bayonetting sign. All these signs, you know, that is glaucomatous optic atrophy. And fifth one is ischemic optic atrophy. Following ischemia or absence of blood supply, there is any intravitreal hemorrhage or macular hemorrhage. All these conditions will cause ischemic optic atrophy. So there is a classification, three types of class. One is primary and secondary optic atrophy. The second one is based on ophthalmoscopic appearance. And again, based on ophthalmoscopic appearance, it is divided into primary optic atrophy, consecutive optic atrophy, post-neuritic optic atrophy, glaucomatous optic atrophy, and ischemic optic atrophy. There are the 5 types of optic atrophy based on ophthalmic scopic experience. And based on the type of degeneration, whether it is anterior to the posterior or posterior to the anterior, it is divided into antegrade and retrograde. It is from after distal lateral geniculate body, it is called antegrade. It is to the lateral geniculate body to the opposite, it is called retrograde. The other name for antegrade is Wallerian degeneration. The other various types of optic atrophy. The definition is involvement of the or degeneration of the axons or the ganglion cells in the anterior visual system is called optic atrophy. That is from retinal ganglion cells to the lateral geniculate body. That is the anterior visual pathway. It extends from the retinal ganglion cells to the lateral geniculate body. Primary versus secondary optic atrophy, ophthalmoscopic classification, anatomical classification. I already told you. Primary optic atrophy, the example is multiple sclerosis and Stevie's dorsalis. Ophthalmoscopic classification, primary, consecutive, post-neuritic, glaucomatous, and ischemic. Anatomical classification, antegrade and retrograde. Primary optic atrophy means simple degeneration of the nerve fibers without any complicating process within the eye. That is in multiple sclerosis, and separatic optic atrophy in Stevie's dorsalis. Secondary optic atrophy means any pathological process which produces optic neuritis and papilledema is called secondary optic atrophy. Any pathological process which produces optic neuritis and papilledema is secondary optic atrophy. Without any pathological process, without any complication involving the eye is called primary optic atrophy. Following any pathological process, it is called secondary optic atrophy. I've already told you that based on ophthalmoscopic classification, we are divided into primary optic atrophy, post-neuritic optic atrophy, consecutive optic atrophy, glaucomatous optic atrophy, vascular and or ischemic optic. Primary the same, multiple sclerosis, Stevie's dorsalis, post-neuritic, optic neuritis and papilledema, consecutive following retinitis pigmentosa, glaucomatous following glaucoma due to rise in intraocular pressure, and ischemic type of optic atrophy. CRAO, BRO, all these conditions produce ischemic type of giant cell arteritis. Most common example is giant cell arteritis produces ischemic atrophy. There are various types and based on ophthalmoscopic classification. Anatomic classification, antegrade and retrograde. Other name for antegrade is Wallerian degeneration. Degeneration begins in the retina and proceeds towards the lateral geniculate body. Larger axons degenerate more rapidly than smaller axons. Example for antegrade optic atrophy, toxic retinopathy. What are the causes for toxic retinopathy? Drugs, antituberculous drugs can cause toxic retinopathy. Quinine poisoning can cause toxic retinopathy. And chronic simple glaucoma. They are all examples for antegrade optic atrophy. Descending or retrograde optic atrophy. Degeneration starts in the proximal portion of the axon and proceeds towards the optic disc. That is optic nerve compression by the intracranial tumors. Nerve compressions. Any intraocular or intracranial tumors causes descending or retrograde optic atrophy. Any degeneration of the optic nerve fibers is associated with unsuccessful but degeneration which is characterized by proliferation of astrocytes and glial tissue. This is the pathogenesis of optic atrophy. Following degeneration of the optic nerve fibers, there is some attempt to regeneration of the optic nerve fibers. This attempt to regeneration is associated with proliferation of the astrocytes and glial tissue. So, degeneration of the nerve fibers may be associated with excessive gliosis, may be associated with orderly gliosis, may be associated with negligible gliosis. Where do you see excessive gliosis? When there is an inflammation, you see excessive gliosis. That is following optic neuritis and papilledema, you see excessive gliosis. Degeneration is associated with orderly gliosis, that is in primary optic atrophy. Negligible gliosis in vascular condition. thinning glaucomatous and ischemic optic atrophy. These are three situations or three pathological types. Degeneration associated with excessive gliosis such as in optic neuritis, degeneration associated with orderly gliosis such as in optic atrophy, degeneration associated with negligible gliosis such as in glaucomatous and ischemic optic atrophy. So whenever there is an attempt for degeneration, whenever there is a degeneration of the nerve fibers, axons of the ganglion cells, there is some amount of attempt for regeneration also. So in this process of attempt for regeneration, there is proliferation of astrocytes and gliosis. And this gliosis is three types: excessive gliosis, or an orderly gliosis, or negligible gliosis. Excessive gliosis usually occurs in optic neuritis, and orderly gliosis occurs in primary optic atrophy such as Stevie's dorsalis and multiple sclerosis. And negligible gliosis occurs in glaucomatous optic atrophy and ischemic optic. They are the types of gliosis following any optic atrophy: excessive gliosis, or orderly gliosis, or negligible gliosis. Primary optic atrophy, the disc is chalky white in color, the margins are well defined. You can see here, the disc is chalky white in color. You can see the margins here, well defined margins. The vessels are normal, the vessel caliber of the vessels is normal. These are the veins, these are the arteries. This is the vein, this is the artery. Both veins and arteries are normal. Surrounding retina is also normal. This is primary optic atrophy, chalky white in color with well defined margins and normal vessels and retina is called primary optic atrophy. Mainly there is, you can see there are no blood vessels on the optic disc. The reduction in the blood vessels, or number of blood vessels on the optic disc is called Kestenbaum sign. That index is called Kestenbaum index. So chalky white in color, the margins are well defined, sharply defined. Lamina cribrosa is clearly seen through the physiological cup. Surrounding retina and peripheral retina is normal, blood vessels are normal. Shallow or shorter shaped cup is seen. Reduction in the number of small blood vessels seen on the disc surface. There are no blood vessels on the disc surface. Usually you see the small blood vessels on the disc surface. This reduction in the blood vessels on the disc surface is called Kestenbaum sign. This Kestenbaum index is less than 6 in primary optic atrophy. This is an example for primary optic atrophy. Cause of primary optic atrophy includes retrobulbar neuritis, compressive lesions of the optic nerve such as pituitary tumors, gliomas of the optic nerve, meningiomas of the optic nerve, traumatic optic atrophy, demyelinating diseases like Stevie's dorsalis, multiple sclerosis, and toxic amblyopia. They are all the causes of primary optic atrophy. Retrobulbar neuritis, compressive lesions of the optic nerve such as pituitary tumors, gliomas, and meningiomas of the optic nerve, traumatic optic atrophy, demyelinating diseases of the optic nerve such as Stevie's dorsalis, multiple sclerosis, and toxic amblyopia. They are all the causes for primary optic atrophy. Post-neuritic optic atrophy are secondary, all that is optic neuritis and papilledema causes post-neuritic optic. Ophthalmoscopic procedures of secondary optic atrophy. You can see here the disc is dirty white in color, not or gray in color, not chalky white in color. It is dirty white. Margins are not well defined, ill defined. Margins are not clear as in primary optic atrophy. You can see the seeding of the vessels. Veins are tortuous and sometimes arrowed. Physiological cup. There is no physiological cup is obliterated and filled with proliferated glial tissue. You can see that the glial tissue is covering the disc and surrounding disc. This is all this whitish structure you see is due to excessive gliosis. Poorly defined margins. The margins are not well defined. Here you can see the margins are well defined. There is no glial tissue. And you can see the physiological cup. Blood vessels are also normal. But here you can see the difference. The blood vessels are also covered with glial tissue. That is called sheathing of the vessels. This is called sheathing of the vessels. And margins are also blurred due to because of the glial tissue covers the physiological cup and disc margins and blood vessels. They are all involved. There will be blurring of the blood vessels. The physiological cup is not visible. The vessels are dilated and tortuous, and there is sheathing of the vessels. Poorly defined margin. Physiological cup is obliterated and filled with the percolating glial tissue. Peripheral sheathing and narrowing of the arteries. You can see sheathing here. Sheathing and narrowing of the arteries. Veins are tortuous and sometimes narrowed. Hyaline bodies and lucens in and around the disc. Sometimes you can see hyaline bodies in and around the disc. This is secondary optic atrophy. The other name for secondary optic atrophy is postneuritic optic atrophy. That is optic neuritis, neuroretinitis, papilledema, anterior-ischemic optic neuritis. They are all the causes for postneuritic or secondary optic atrophy. Optic neuritis, papilledema, neuroretinitis, AION, anterior-ischemic optic neuropathy. These are four are the causes for secondary optic atrophy. Conjugative optic atrophy occurs due to destruction of the ganglial cells, secondary to degenerative or inflammatory lesions of the choroid or retina. It occurs due to degenerative or inflammatory lesions of the choroid or retina. Example is retinitis pigmentosa is a classical example for conjugative optic atrophy. Secondary to degeneration of the retina or choroid, it leads to conjugative optic atrophy. This is an example for retinitis pigmentosa. Here you can see the classical triad of retinitis pigmentosa includes bone corpuscular pigmentation, pale waxy disc pallor, and attenuation of the vessels. You can see the blood vessels, how they are thinned out, narrowing of the blood vessels. Particularly, arteries are mainly involved. Marked attenuation of the arteries. Associated renal pathology may be seen. Normal physiological cup, pale waxy disc pallor, normal disc margin, bone corpuscular pigmentation. This is the bone corpuscular pigmentation of retinitis pigmentosa. The triad of retinitis pigmentosa includes bone corpuscular pigmentation, pale waxy disc pallor, attenuation of the blood vessels. This is the classical triad of retinitis pigmentosa. Retinitis pigmentosa itself can be an essay or 4 marks question for you. So you have to write the classical triad of retinitis pigmentosa includes bone corpuscular pigmentation, pale waxy disc pallor, attenuation of thin blood vessels, narrowing of the blood vessels. That is the classical triad of retinitis pigmentosa. This is called conjugative optic atrophy. There is underlying pathology of the choroid and retina. There is atrophy of the optic, that is called conjugative optic atrophy. Degenerative causes include retinitis pigmentosa, cerebromacular degeneration, myopia, post-inflammatory conditions like choroiditis and chorioretinitis. Extensive fan-retinal photocoagulation also can cause conjugative optic atrophy. Long-standing retinal detachment. These are all causes for conjugative optic atrophy. Degenerative causes include retinitis pigmentosa, cerebromacular degeneration or myopia, post-inflammatory choroiditis and chorioretinitis, extensive pan-retinal photocoagulation, long-standing retinal detachment. They are all the causes for conjugative optic atrophy. Glaucomatous optic atrophy, the cause is due to long-standing rise in intraocular pressure. You can see the cupping here. This vertically oval cupping is a feature of glaucomatous optic atrophy. This pinkish structure is the neuroretinal rim. This is a healthy neuroretinal rim with vertically oval cupping. This is the vertically oval cupping. This is the neuroretinal rim here. You can see the small blood vessels. These are all the small blood vessels here. The small blood vessels are absent in glaucomatous optic atrophy. Here you can see there are no blood vessels here in this. In advanced glaucomatous cupping, the entire disc will be white like this. Vertically oval cupping is a feature of glaucomatous optic atrophy. In advanced glaucomatous cupping, the entire disc will be white like this. But here it is only partly involved. This is an early and mid stage of glaucomatous optic atrophy. Some amount of neuroretinal tissue, healthy neuroretinal tissue is present. You can see the blood vessels. There are the blood vessels here. The small pinkish blood vessels. But here they are absent. These blood vessels are absent here because they have the loss of axons of ganglion cells and reduction in the blood vessels. That is called Glaucomatous optic atrophy. This is the cupping here, vertically oval cup. This whitish area is called cupping. Vertically oval cupping is a feature of glaucoma. Marked cupping along with vertical enlargement of the cup. This is the vertical enlargement of the cup. Vertically oval enlargement of the cup. Lamina fibrosa, you can see the pores in the lamina fibrosa, that is called lamina dot sign. Nasal shifting of the blood vessels. You can see here, all the blood vessels are shifted to one side, nasal. They are on the one side. That is called nasal shifting of the blood vessels. Peripheral halo and atrophy can be seen. Sometimes you can see the peripheral atrophy. That is glaucomatous optic. Vascular or ischemic optic atrophy. Examples include giant cell arteritis, severe hemorrhage, anemia, venine poisoning, ophthalmoscopic appearance, marked attenuation of the vessels. You can see the marked attenuation, particular arteries are completely thinned out and there is pallor of the wrist. Clinical features, loss of vision, partial or total. Pupil is semi-dilated. Direct light reflex is sluggish or absent. You can see RAPD, relative apparent pupillary defect. You can see elicit RAPD. Instead of constriction, there will be dilatation of the pupil. When you throw light into the one eye to the other eye alternatively, the eye which is affected, instead of constriction of the pupil, there will be dilatation of the pupil. That is called RAPD. The test for RAPD is swinging flashlight test. Alternatively, to throw the light from one eye to the other eye. That is called swinging flashlight. Visual field loss, peripheral, central, or eccentric visual field. Where do you see central field loss? Central field loss you see in optic neuritis and papilledema. And anterior ischemic optic neuritis, you see central field loss. Eccentric field loss you see in compressive optic neuropathies, optic nerve gliomas, meningiomas, pituitary adenomas. All these conditions cause eccentric optic neuropathy. Eccentric field loss. Central field loss occurs with optic neuritis and papilledema. This is the differentiating features from primary optic atrophy, secondary and conjugative optic atrophy. Primary optic atrophy, the appearance is chalky white in color. Secondary is dirty grey white in color. Conjugative is waxy in color. The margins are well defined in primary optic atrophy. They are ill defined in secondary optic atrophy and well defined in conjugative optic atrophy. Lamina fibrosa is seen in primary optic atrophy. It is obscured or absent in secondary optic atrophy. That is, the optic neuritis, the excessive glial tissue will obscure the lamina fibrosa and disc margins, and there will be sheathing of the vessels. That is the reason for absence of lamina fibrosa in secondary optic atrophy. That is post-neuritic, that is optic neuritis and papilledema. It is well seen in conjugative optic. Vessels are normal in primary optic atrophy. Attenuated and peripheral sheathing is seen in secondary optic atrophy. There is attenuation of vessels without sheathing is seen in conjugative optic atrophy. Surrounding retina is healthy in primary optic atrophy. Silent bodies and drusions are seen in secondary optic atrophy. And pathology, there is degeneration of the retina and underlying choroid in conjugative optic atrophy. These are the differences between primary, secondary, and conjugative optic atrophy. Appearance, it is chalky white in primary optic atrophy, dirty white in secondary optic, waxy disc pallor. Pale waxy disc pallor is a sign of retinitis pigmentosa. You see a triad of pale waxy disc pallor, bone corpuscular pigmentation, and attenuation of the vessel. The classical triad is a feature of retinitis pigmentosa. Differential diagnosis. Pallor of the optic disc is in partial optic atrophy must be differentiated from other causes of pallor of the disc, which may be non-pathological or pathological. Examples include axial myopia, infants, elderly people with sclerotic changes, temporal paralysis with large physiological cause. They are all the differential diagnosis. High myopia, axial myopia, infant, elderly people with sclerotic changes, temporal paralysis with large physiological cause could be differentiated from optic atrophy. They are all the differential diagnosis. Pathological failure of the optics other than optic atrophy includes hypoplasia of the optics, congenital optic fit, and coloboma. Previous are non-pathological causes. These are the pathological causes, which do differentiate from optic atrophy. Hypoplasia of the optic, congenital optic fit, and coloboma of the optic. Investigations, field of vision. We have already told you, central vision is lost in optic neuritis and papillary edema. There is loss of peripheral vision in optic nerve gliomas and meningioma. Pupils are semi-dilated. Direct reflex is sluggish or absent, which is explained by the swinging flashlight. Fluorescein angiography of the optic nerve head, BAPs, visually evoked potential. Total neurological evaluation like X-ray of the skull, CT, and MRI of the brain and optic nerve. MRI is particularly useful in multiple sclerosis. MRI should be done in suspected multiple sclerosis. CT scan should be done in if you suspect any optic nerve gliomas or meningiomas. You should do CT scan of brain and artery. Partial optic atrophy, you should treat the underlying cause. In complete optic atrophy, vision cannot be recovered. High doses of B1, B6, and B12 should be given. Particularly, they are using toxic drug, antitubercular drugs, which they cause optic atrophy. There is hydroxyc B12, 100,000 micrograms is administered for atrophy due to toxic optic. There are differentiated between primary, secondary, consecutive, and glaucomatous optic atrophy. This primary optic atrophy, there you can see the well-defined margins with chalky white. This is primary optic atrophy. And causes of primary optic atrophy include optic neuritis, pituitary tumors, optic nerve gliomas and meningiomas, traumatic optic atrophy, demyelinating diseases like multiple sclerosis and Tevis and toxic amyloidosis. They are all causes for primary optic atrophy. Secondary optic atrophy or post-neuritic optic atrophy, the margins are ill defined. You can see there is gliosis, excessive gliosis. Because of excessive gliosis, the margins are well defined and you cannot see the physiological curve. And there is sheathing of the vessels. You can see the sheathing of the vessels. That is the feature of post-neuritic optic atrophy. Gray or dirty gray pallor of the optic is poorly defined margins. Physiological curve is obliterated and filled with the proliferating fibroglial tissue. Peripheral sheathing and narrowing of the arteries. Veins are tortuous and dilated. Island bodies and tulicans in and around. Here you can see a fully defined margins with excessive glial tissue. The physiological cup is filled up. There is sheathing of the vessels. You can see here. This is called the sheathing. A white margin around the veins is called sheathing of the vessels. That is secondary optic atrophy, post-neuritic. Consecutive optic atrophy, pale vascular disc pallor, it occurs following degenerative changes in the retina and choroid is called consecutive optic atrophy. Particularly, retinitis pigmentosa is a classical example for consecutive optic atrophy. Pale vascular disc pallor, attenuation of the vessels, particularly arteries, normal physiological cup, normal disc margin. You can see the disc margin is clearly seen here. This is the normal disc. Causes include retinitis pigmentosa, myopia, post-inflammatory like choroiditis and chorioretinitis, extensive fan retinal photocoagulation, and long-standing retinal pain. They are all the causes for consecutive optic retinitis pigmentosa, myopia, choroiditis and chorioretinitis, extensive fan retinal photocoagulation, and long-standing retinal pain. They are all the causes for consecutive optic atrophy. Glaucomatous optic atrophy, vertically oval cupping, lamina cribrosa, post lamina cribrosa, natural shifting of the blood vessels, peripapillary halo and atrophy are seen. This is the peripapillary halo. There is no atrophy, only peripapillary halo is present. There are all the features for glaucomatous optic atrophy. vertically over cupping, natural shifting of the blood vessels, force in the lamina fibrosa calcium, peripapillary halo can be. These are all the features for blepharitis optic. Ischemic optic atrophy examples include giant cell arteritis, severe hemorrhage, severe anemia, quinine poisoning, failure of the disc, and marked attenuation of the vessels. See the failure of the disc and marked attenuation. Then vascular or ischemic artery. These are the difference between primary, secondary, and conjugative optic atrophy. Differential diagnosis, there are some non-pathological conditions and pathological conditions. Non-pathological conditions include the axial myopia, infants, elderly people with sclerosis changes, temporal pallor is a large geological cup, and pathological differential diagnosis include hypoplasia of the optic disc, congenital fix of the optic disc, and coloboma of the optic disc. These are all the differential diagnosis. Field of vision. In partial optic atrophy, the central vision is distressed with concentric contraction of the visual field. Pupil may be semi-dilated and direct reflex is sluggish or absent. Single class test depicts marker scan pupil or RAPD. Single class test is the test for RAPD. So, angiography of the visually over potential, total neurological evaluation like X-ray of the skull, CT scan, MRI of the brain, and optic nerve. These are all the investigations. Field of visual field, single class test, FFA, conduction fluorescent angiography, VEP, visually over potential, CT and MRI of the brain, including X-ray of the skull. These are all the investigations for suspected case of optic atrophy. Treatment includes partial optic atrophy, treat the underlying cause. In complete atrophy, vision cannot be recovered. High doses of vitamin B1, B6, and B12 is given. B12 1000 micrograms is administered for atrophy due to toxic optic nerve. This is the treatment for optic atrophy. Okay. Baraza exam under. Huh? Some of you have written well, some of you have copied. Okay. Bye.